Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fire Emblem Binding Blade LP. And oh my god, we finally, well, not the end of the game, but we've arrived at chapter 21. We're making our way into Bern, and I gotta say, guys, this part is gonna be, as I would like to put it, a beefer, because holy shit, this is a big map. There's a lot to get through, and it feels so close to like an all-out war in Fire Emblem. Like, this is the closest Binding Blade gets to feel like a legit war. Like, holy shit, this is crazy. But like the game says, this is one of the bloodiest days because the chapter is fucking huge. The enemies are strong. They come at you in full force. There's a lot of them, and they respawn very often. Guys, this chapter, it's arguably one of the hardest in the game. Though again, I think it's hard for the right reasons, because for the most part there isn't that much bullshit. Granted, I do think later on, when a certain unit appears, you can get blindsided by the respawning units, but before then, most of the respawning units will come from like the bottom of and the top of the maps, so you pretty much know where they're going to come from and you can predict what to begin. So yeah, Murdoch and Gale get ready. It's like, we've got two of the generals of Bern here, and they've got their armies in full force. They ain't fucking around, and goddamn do they not fuck around. It's at this point where you just say, alright, you gotta bust out all the good weapons. You know, bust out the silver weapons, bust out the killer weapons. Don't hold back on the really good tomes in it. Give everyone the best stars. Everyone needs a physics staff that can use one. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. But we also get one new character, Yoda, in this map. And Yoda is well, he's not particularly good because his stats aren't very impressive, his growth rates aren't very good, except his resistance is capped, so that's very good. But his main attribute is his good rank in staff, and the fact he's A ranked out in light magic, which, unless you really used either Soul or Ellen throughout, it's unlikely they'll have maxed it out, so they won't be able to use the legendary tome. He can at the very least use it. I mean, if Soul or Ellen have reached that level, then don't use Yoda. But if not, he's a good replacement and someone's just used for the endgame. Aside from that, he's not particularly impressive as a unit, though. But also, because I mentioned this in one of the other parts, because we have access to 18 units, I had 3 spare spaces. One of them I put for Faye, because I wanted to give Faye some experience point levels just before she goes up against like the endgame, because she's mandatory. So I thought, give her a few levels just to level up, you know, however in the chapter. But I did mention 2 particular units who were coming back, okay? And though a lot of you have guessed, and some of you like got one of them right, the 2 units that came back were Ray and Lalum. So, to those of you by the name of Leo PvP Gaming, Champion Gary Rock, Otaku Emblem, Big Evil Shark, Justin Liu, Alias Mask, Blaze the Shadow, and Patrick Pugh? Yeah, so just like Pooh, but, you know, spelled G-U-H-G. U-G-H, oh god, I am not with it today. So, to all of you who guessed correctly, well done, round of applause. Well done for predicting the characters. So yeah, we've got Yoda, we've got those 3, and we've got everyone else, and they're decked out with some really good shit. Also, yeah, Yoda just, basically, depending on the path you go, Yoda will have the opposite weapon, so in this case we get the Lance. So, yeah, he's like, oh yeah, we just happen to have the Lance on us. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know where that came from. But yeah, as you can see, because of this chapter, shit tons of enemies, they're all rocking high levels, and so I did not hold back. I was like, right, Wendy may have some mediocre weapons, but she's got Horse Slayer, Killer Lance, and Silver Lance, and oh god, that's gonna come in real handy, trust me. But this map is like a massive, massive, massive gauntlet. Why did I choose? Yeah, alright. The reason I chose to bring back Ray and Lalum. Ray was because not only was he level 16, which is a pretty decent level, it's an alright level at this time, but I had a spare guiding ring, so I thought, if I get him to level 20 in this chapter, I can promote him. So, you know, might as well, because a lot of people did say Chad because I like Chad, and I do like Chad, but again, he can't promote, so I thought it's kind of pointless. Also, because of mostly withers in this chapter, Chad's not the best choice. Yeah, this chapter loves its withers. It has a boner for withers in this chapter, but then again, we're in Bern, so what do you expect? And I brought Lalum back because, contrary to popular belief, I do like dancers. And I thought, well, I've got spare space, might as well use one. I know everyone is under the impression I don't like dancers because of top 10 worst classes, but as I explained in that video, it's only the bottom 3 classes, villagers, ballistas, and griffin riders that I legit don't like. The rest of them, it's just a case of they're my least favorite. I like dancers, as you know, I'm gonna prove that when we play 7, and we'll definitely prove Fate. You know, there's always gonna be a mandatory unit for all 3 pathways. It's just in certain games, I'm not too fond of them. This one in particular, but I thought, why not? I got Lalum, I got the space, might as well use her. So you know, again, if you predicted correctly, well done to you. Well done to you. I know a lot of you also said Tharja because she was maxed out, which fair enough. That I wouldn't put past you. But again, she couldn't promote, and even then she wasn't very impressive. So I was like, nah. Some of you said Lot, which I was like, okay, because warrior, and I did like him, but he's still a bit underleveled. And some of you said Alan. I'm like, no, I'm not bringing back Alan. Alan really underperformed, which is a shame. But this chapter, though it's hard, it's not one of my favorites, but I do quite like it because it definitely challenges you about really taking on hordes, because the first like 10 turns of this chapter, you've really got to really have to turtle in and take out as many enemies as possible, because also they respawn a lot for the first couple of turns, so you've really got to be able to tank the positions, set up units correctly in a good formation, and so on. So there is definitely a lot of strategy to this chapter. Also, it challenges you because you have to beat it in 30 turns in order to get the guided map, so you can get the thingy thing, which isn't too bad. Again, the first couple of turns you do have to take your time. You can't rush through, otherwise you're pretty much just going to die. But 30 turns is perfectly manageable. You know, it should not be that, it's not difficult to do. I also like there's a lot of enemy variety here. Wyverns, paladins, bow users, knights, bishops, sages. There's a good variety of units, so there's a lot of people to fight, big open space. There's still quite a lot of terrain to take advantage of, but, you know, just be prepared, man. You're going to be healing a lot, and use that fucking shrubbery. I'll tell you something, you got to use that shrubbery. So, it begins. Good start. Good start, I must admit. Oh, very good start. Straight up the gate, we have our crit. Oh, man. So I do like this chapter, admittedly. It can get, like, it can, if you're not prepared, it can certainly be daunting. But aside from that, it should be alright. Oh, yeah. It's also in this chapter, this map has a, what should we call it? Yeah, so let's see. Start respawning a load of shit. The chapter also has a secret shop, where what I do is I go and I buy stuff that I feel the units that are going to use the legendary weapons that I'm taking to the end game will need. So in this case, energy ring for Wendy, skill book for Gonzalez, speed wing for Lalina, all that stuff. Yeah, the end game units are the ones that get the bonus items. No one else. Oh, so many Wyverns. But I would be scared, and then I remember I am a lady. So all is right with the world. Okay, I guess people want to hear more about echoes. Okay, so I'm nearing the end of part 3, and I'm still enjoying echoes, but like the more I play it, the more the very bland and like really underwhelming map design stands out. And also, I know the game's like purposely has a lack of unit variety, but for your team, I get it. It forces you to be more strategic, but for the enemies, oh my god, I am so sick of doing chapters where you just fight one of the same unit. Like Dean and Sonia's chapter. If anyone's been wondering, I got Sonia. I didn't want Dean. That's great. I played both chapters and just made separate files for each. Dean and Sonia's chapter is literally, it's the same level, except you start at different points and you just fight like a horde of the exact same class. In the other chapters, like you fight nothing but cavaliers, and I'm like, that's kind of boring. And even in dungeons, we fight nothing but the same fucking enemies, and it really makes me like wish there was a little bit more variety to unit classes, because there's only so much fun I can have fighting the same cavalier over and over and over again. And even then, because of the bland map design, half the time the chapters, like, the strategies remain the same. Put your mercenaries or myrmidons out front in the bushes to tank with the and knights. Put them out there to tank, and just pick up everyone else with mages and archers. That's pretty much rinse and repeat that for the majority of chapters. I mean, a few of them do change things up, but I've noticed that's pretty much all I've had to do, and I've been able to get through just fine. It's kind of sad. Kind of sad. But with that said, there's still a lot I like about Echoes. One thing I have noticed is Arm's Pathway. I think the characters are more balanced in terms of how much I like them. Like, in Arm's Pathway, there's no one I massively love, except Mathilda. I love Mathilda. But everyone else I like. There's no one I, like, legit dislike in Arm's Pathway. Celica's Pathway is a case of there are some characters I love to pieces, other ones I can't fucking stand. Because I love Saber, I love May so much, and I love Sonya. But then there's other characters like, I can't remember his name. Is that villager you get, whose only good stat is his attack. Everything else is fucking terrible. And I don't like him, and there's other people I just don't really care for. So Celica's Pathway has a lot more positives, but also a lot more negatives. Arm's Pathway I find a bit more consistent. I like traveling through both. I do like how the game lets you traverse either one, because I do it in a way I kind of keep them balanced. Because I've just done the bit in Celica's Pathway where you do basically the last chapter on her side of the map. Now I've got to do Arm's one. So, you know, there's that. I've been going at it like at my own pace, do a bit of Celica, do a bit of Arm, do a bit of Celica, do a bit of Arm. So yeah, I do like how it gives you that freedom, which I think is pretty cool. And just the other things, like I really like how you can collect the little prisms to unlock more. That's all optional. And I've noticed that support-wise, yeah, it's still pretty much down to small talk. But I have noticed that a lot of that, if you go to like villages and dungeons and talk to people there, that's where most of the character development comes out. And I think it's pretty cool, but it also kind of like, I know it's to make up for the whole lack of supports, but which is cool, I won't get you wrong, but it also makes me question, why don't you just put these in the supports? I know one of the biggest argument people have when it comes to Echo supports, like, well, you don't want the voice, well, that's a lot of supports they'd have to do, you don't want the voice actors to be tired out. Okay, first argument, the cast is much smaller, and I don't expect them to support with everyone, just more characters, minimum 3, like between 6 and 3 for each character. So, you know, like, even then, they don't have to write bajillion supports, so it's not like Fates or Blazing Sword, but it's like 200 plus. And even then, there are loads of other games like Mass Effect, Metal Gear, and even Xenoblade, which have way more voice acting, so the whole don't want to use too much voice acting, no, I don't find that's an excuse. I think they should just put more focus on the supports and have them be fully voice acted. That's my opinion, at least. Any more about Echoes? Don't know. Actually, there is one thing about Echoes. Based on how things are going now, I can see Echoes as being the Fire Emblem game I end up replaying the least, because, well, I just don't really feel the need to, like, I'm playing through it, I'm having fun, but, like, there's nothing in my mind that makes me say, oh yeah, I really want to go back to this game. Actually, that might be the reason why there's so much focus on, look at all those respawning wyverns, Jesus. That might be the reason that Nintendo put so much focus on the DLC, because they realized, oh, there's not much really coming back to this game, we need DLC. No, but in all seriousness, like, I'm playing through it, and, like, because of how the map layout is, and the only reason to go back to it really is to, like, experiment with what villages to change, and even then, it's like, it's not that huge of a thing for me. Like, it's not like going back to other games, experimenting different different ways of tackling chapters, or different ways of using different units because you're more limited in which ones you can use, or even like maybe reclassing certain ones, or getting certain supports and or you with child units, you know, raising different child units, or just like other stuff. Like I don't know, just like doing different pathways. Like certain games had like Binding Blade and stuff, and what was it? Sacred Stones. Like, I feel no, as of now, I feel no, like, urge to go back and play through Echoes at all. I was like, it's, you son of a bitch. Oh, Wendy's like, oh, that's how it's gonna be. Gonna crit me, huh? Yeah, I'll show you how it's fucking done. Yeah, rule in life. Don't crit Wendy. It doesn't end well for you. Who knows, it might pick up, but considering I'm at, like, nearing the end of part 3, things, Echoes is perfectly, oh, damn, a double miss. Echoes is perfectly serviceable, and it's a lot of the little things I like, but the main core of the game, it's kinda meh, in all honesty. Like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. Oh wow, both Plazma and Wendy just absolutely fucking missed. Those wyverns, man. They are dodging like fucking crazy. Oh, only 14 damage. And then again, he's not even a promoter. He's not a sniper or anything. Yeah, Echoes is a strange one. Echoes is a weird one because I know people. Again, a lot of people are going, this game is like really, really great and stuff like that. I'm just like, I like it. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff I really like, but I can easily say I don't love Echoes. I doubt I'd ever say I'd love Echoes. It's a weird one for me. I don't know how to describe it. I just don't know how to describe it. Once I beat the game, I can give my full thoughts, so I'll wait until then. Anything else? Yeah, actually. So, E3's around the corner. It's Game of Christmas all over again. Oh, it's going to be interesting. I know it's going to be interesting because with the past couple of E3s, I found that, well, with Nintendo, the last couple of ones, they've been pretty crappy. Like, they've been funny, but most of the, like, content they show is kind of crap. Like, their 2015 one wasn't very good, although I love their Muppets thing that made me laugh really hard. But again, the games they showed I wasn't impressed with. Their 2016 one, I hated that because I don't care if it's Breath of the Wild. Streaming just pretty much one game. All you're doing is streaming one game. I'm sorry, that in my opinion is really crappy. Like, the point of E3 is you want to see all the new reveals and stuff like that. I don't want to spend 10 hours watching the same game streamed over and over, just watching the exact same game. That was me, at least. Microsoft are a case of, alright, how can, like, Microsoft, it's more to do with how can we not fuck up, because Microsoft hit, like, I remember their first Xbox One reveal, that was painful, but it created such wonderful memes. I love the Sony killing Microsoft memes that came out of that. My favourite one is still the Attack on Titan one, where the Aaron Titan has got PS4 just stomping on Xbox and Wii's looking in the background with like hands over his head like, oh shit! That's still my favourite. Sony have been consistently good. Like, to be fair, I think E3 last year was kind of crappy. I don't think anyone in particular was really good. But like the year before that, Sony revealed Final Fantasy VII and everyone lost their shit. And just other stuff. But this year I think it's going to be interesting because I think each of them have a real trump card at their disposal that they can, like, that can make them win E3. Because with Nintendo, not only do they, like, they're going to focus on Mario Odyssey, they said in their Twitter post, which I think that's fine because Mario Odyssey looks really, really cool, so I'm happy to see that. But also, because the Switch is a new console, like, they have the potential to show some brand new games for the Switch, and, you know, just be like, yeah, those, new Switch games, and, if they show, like, I don't know, new Metroid, new Donkey Kong, new F-Zero and stuff, everyone will be like, alright, Nintendo wins, or like new Smash, like, alright, Nintendo wins. Again, if Nintendo showed us new stuff, they'd easily, like, it would easily be like, yeah, Nintendo's won E3, so they can win if they just pull out their first party titles. There's one thing that annoys me about a lot of Nintendo's Directs and E3s recently is that they just give us information on games we already know about, and I'm like, we come to E3 to find out new shit, can we please, you know, can you show us stuff that we don't know about Nintendo, please? Oh, one shot by Air Caliber. Very nice. So I hope that's what Nintendo's got going for them. They could just have a really, really solid, constant, you know, loads of really, really good Switch games coming out. I also expect Mario Odyssey trailer, more Xenoblade news. I expect a new trailer for Fire Emblem Warriors. Not like a big thing on it, just a new trailer. Show me the Black Knight, and I will literally just, I will jizz then and there. I know that sounds kind of nasty, but you know how much I want that game. You know how much I want to play as the Black Knight. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Which is the reason I refuse to live stream it. I don't want the webcam to just go white all of a sudden. I'm sorry for that mental image, people. I am so sorry for that. But it's can imagine that's what all the Final Fantasy fans did when 7 was announced. Like, I'm not a Final Fantasy fan, but even I was like, oh shit, Sony! Oh, you're going that wrong way, are you? I was like, holy shit, man. That was some next level shit. So yeah, Nintendo have that trump card. Sony's trump card is a case of just continue doing a consistently good E3 and don't fuck up, because that's what Sony tend to be best at. They just don't really fuck up with the E3s aside from their, you know, abysmal one with the PS3 launch. Because Sony been doing, like, especially because I got PS4 not too long ago and I've been playing it a lot. Oh, Sony, man. I'm really, really starting to love Sony. Like, even from the PS1 era, they've always had some of the best libraries for the consoles. PS2 still has the best library ever. And even though PS3 started poorly, it got a lot better. And PS4's just so good. Sony are quickly becoming like, I'm really starting to love that company. Oh yeah, I used Eclipse, but it missed, of course. Like, for the longest time, I was loving Sony because they had so much variety. But now they've got so many great first parties like Uncharted, Bloodborne. Some of their Final Fantasy games are exclusive. Nier Automata. Oh god, their first party titles are so good. And I'm just like, Nintendo, man. If you don't get those third parties in, I might migrate. I mean, I always love Nintendo because their first parties are unparalleled. Like nothing compares to like Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Metroid, Fire Emblem, F-Zero, and Donkey Kong. But Sony aren't slouches either. They got some really nice shit. Yay, more strength. They've got some real nice shit. So Sony is a case of just keep doing what you're doing and don't screw up. And Microsoft, their biggest thing is they've got the Project Scorpio coming out. I mean, I'm not excited for anything because I'm just not huge on the Xbox brand. But at the same time, new console, meant to be really powerful. That could be really interesting. So there could be some really good stuff. So with E3, I think it's going to be exciting because either company can go either way in terms of how good their performance can be. Based on how things go, I reckon Microsoft's going to get the most coverage just because it's Scorpio. Sony, I doubt I don't know if they'll wow us, but I doubt they'll depress us. Nintendo, I see them as either being solid or either slightly... I don't think they'll be bad conference. They'll either be slightly underwhelming, they'll blow us away, or they'll just be solid. One of the three. I'm going to go with solid because I don't think they can go wrong with Odyssey, and Nintendo has a knack for just showing us more of the games we know, which, to be fair, isn't the worst thing, especially because I'd love to know more about Xenoblade and No More Heroes and Fire Emblem Warriors. But some new games would be appreciated, really appreciated. So that's what I think about for E3. I'm interested to see where it goes because E3 is a wonderful time, and all the news stories and all the reaction videos going to be interesting. Though I will say, because of the Crash Bandicoot remake, which is coming out soon, Sony, if you announce a Spyro remake, you've won. You have officially won. I think it's the 8th generation console war. I mean, to be fair, you've already won. I'm sorry, PS4 shits all over Xbox One, Wii U, and I haven't played the Switch, but I'll make that judgment when I get one, when I get Warriors. The PS4 is one of the greatest consoles I've ever fucking played. It's so good. Oh man, Sony fanboying right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the Xbox One, and I love my Wii U. I think it's a really underrated console. But PS4 is PS4. So many fucking paladins. Gotta say, all those wyverns, all those paladins. Thank God I've got tanky classes. Thank God, because, like I said, for the first couple of turns, this chapter just, it's fucking nuts. They just, never stop throwing shit at you. I know the ideal strategy is to, not split up the army, but I'm just I prefer to split them up because I can have either side take them down, and it also saves me time. And also, I think I find it easier so I can focus on a particular group on one side, because again, they respawn at different points. So I'd rather focus on the top group and bottom group separately, rather than just go completely bottom group and have the top group come around me from the sides and just potentially... Oh, sorry. Ow. Oh, that did not come up right. Again with the criticals, Wendy. What is with you? Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, if they ever remake alright, please. If they ever remake Binding Blade, and now Wendy to become Berserker class, she will crit more than Ruka does. I'm convinced you will crit more than Ruka does. Oh, that would be wonderful. See, look at that, he didn't even crit. Wendy knows how it's done. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, so, that's what I prefer to do. I prefer to split up the army, because while it's more dangerous, I feel it's easier, it makes it easier for me just to handle the amount of units I'm going to be facing. So, very nice. Oh shit, it didn't even kill him. Well, at least the next one did, so, it's rare that you'll survive a double critical. Well, unless you're really, really tanky, but, these guys aren't that tanky. So, sorry to say, and oh man. Only 25 minutes in and I've already covered quite a bit. But thankfully, when I say thankfully, that formation I've got going there, it's alright everybody, keep in formation, don't fucking move. It was also, I also found this really good for Ray because, again, Wyvern's low resistance. And even then, even though he's not promoted, he's still able to keep up. But it just makes it all the more problem. It's like, you should have picked, like, this is what happened, like, this is what you could have had. But no, you had to go with Sophia because you had to make that stupid bet, didn't you? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I paid the price for it. I paid the price, but at least Sophia's, at least I was lucky enough to get an RNG Bless Sophia. I was so lucky that day. But thankfully, because, in the last part I did the Q&A session, a lot of you did like that, and I've got more questions that were asked, which I'm willing to answer, because, guys, I got more than enough time. This part is, even though I'm breaking it up into 2 videos, this part's like an hour and 10 minutes, because I've got to show off all those fights. Even with all the cutting away, I just remember, like, Jesus Christ, recording this part took so fucking long. Not because of restarting, I didn't have to restart or anything, it's just so many enemies. But anyway, so, there's a few more questions willing to be asked, and I'm going to answer them. So, anyway, first one from Wesley. Oh, I really don't know how to pronounce that last name. Kwe? Something like that. Lynn versus Lucina. Who will win? Okay. In terms of stats and stuff, Lucina. Well, Lucina's naturally just strong, and then you've got also how she fares because of her mother. So, Lucina gets Gale Force. But also, Lynn, while she is good, she tends to get strength screwed a lot. So, I think as a unit, definitely Lucina. And even prefer Lucina slightly as a character. I mean, again, both those two were like second and third in top 10 Fire Emblem Lords. I mean, don't get me wrong, Lynn definitely probably has a high crit chance, and even then she can probably avoid Lucina. But Lucina's just better stat-wise and has the better skills, so, Yep, Nosferatu. Can't risk getting hit. Or can't risk, just trying to tank people. So, I think Lucina would win in the fight. Even just not taking consideration parents, I think just base level Lucina. Oh shit! That's 129 damage. Oh, that's a fucking hurt. I feel so sorry for that paladin. Like, that's a hurt like a bitch. Jesus. Okay, next question is from Mr. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D. Okay, actually, he's got multiple questions. First one, where would you rank Mia in your favourite Swordmaster list overall? I remember this person really likes Mia. Favourite Swordmasters overall? Well, some of my favourites are like Rutger, Ryoma, Lonku, Zirak, Joshua. Is there anyone else I really like? Ira. Fuck. Favourite Swordmasters. Oh god, because probably she'd be in like either 8 or like there's also Siri. Probably in the top 10, though quite low, like between 10 and 8. Between 10 and 7, so something like that, I'd reckon. I mean, I like Mia, don't get me wrong. I've used her, like, to be fair, like, out of the Swordmasters in Thingyjig, she's my second favourite. But I just prefer Zirak overall. I've used Mia before and I like her, especially her support with Reese. I really like that. I ship those two. But, there are other Swordmasters I really like. I know you, Mr. U5D, really like Mia, and I like her too, don't get me wrong. Just other ones I'm bigger fans of. Here's next question is, all these Wyverns, how many Wyverns do they have to spare? They must have like the best dragon breeding program ever. Like, Jesus. His next question is, who is your favorite healer? Well, at first it was Natasha. I really liked Natasha. I liked her character and she was really useful. Then it became Priscilla. I always really liked Priscilla. I felt she had strong supports and she was also just a really good healer for me. Maribel, I didn't like her at first, but she started to really grow on me, and she was for a while one of my favorite healers. I think some of her supports are really good, and she's a damn good unit. But as of now, favorite healers, Elise. I love Elise. Not only do I find her the sweetest little thing in the world who I just want to adopt, she's a Fire Emblem cinnamon roll, and I love her. But also, she's a damn good unit. If I remember, her like luck stat is insane and her resistance is really good. So she's a really good unit for me in Conquest and Revelations. Awesome. I think she has more bearing on the story compared to some of the other Fate siblings. Like, not as much as Xander, Ryoma, and Takumi, but more than like Hanoka, Camilla, and Sakura does. She's kind of like, she has quite a bit of bearing on the story, especially in Birthright. Rest in peace. Oh, good shot, Ray. And I've just found that Elise to be really good. Like, by the time she, like, promoted and started getting high levels, she was outdoing Leo. It's like, Leo is like, out of the Northern siblings, Leo's sucking the most, which is a shame. I like Leo, but Elise is kicking ass on some next level. And Percival, that's overkill. But Percival, yeah, but we've seen way too much overkill this part. Way too much. Right, after that, he says... Who's your favourite mage, dark or otherwise? Okay, favourite mage? Oh god, favourite mage. Probably, what am I trying to think? What do I really like? I think, well, for a while it was Loot. I really liked Loot, especially when I first played Sacred Stones. If anything, it's probably Ileana as a normal mage. I really like Ileana. Again, she's adorable. Her character, while not deep, quite funny, got a lot of charm. Apart from Radiance, I always thought she was a damn good unit. Even though I know that Soren is definitely, objectively, the better of the two. And Radiant Dawn, granted she takes a lot of time to level up, but because of Endgame Part 3, so worth it. So worth it. But also, again, I love her relationship with Xerox so much. Those are, like, I mentioned how Standard and Charlotte are in my top 5, and so are Ninian and Eliwood, so are Xerox and Ileana. Fucking love those two so much, it's unbelievable. So, probably for Mage Ileana, I'm just trying to think, because, yeah, Awakening, not too huge on the normal mages, like, not too huge on Laurent, Rickon, or Maribel. Muriel, not Maribel, Muriel. But with Thingy, like, well, with Fates it's different because everyone's because it's like, the only two are the Dark Mages, Odin and Nyx. And in Birthright's case, it's, like, Orochi and Hayato. I like Orochi, don't care for Hayato. He's one character I do not give two fucks about. Sorry for all the people that like Hayato, fair enough that you like him. It's not a case of I hate him, I just don't give a flying fuck at all. He is, like, so generic, I couldn't care less. Favorite Dark Mage, and this actually ties into his next question. Because his next question is, favorite Dark, if your answer is Tharja, why? Favorite Dark Mage is Tharja. Okay, so why? Well, alright, I'm going to explain from a more objective viewpoint in terms of how the performance as a unit. I like Tharja because, well, for one thing, she's actually quite tanky for a Dark Mage. She could, thank God she dodged. She can take good hits. She's got good, like, surprisingly good HP and defense growth. And also because of her skills like Vengeance and a Nosferatu Tome, she works great as a tank. I mean, yeah, her skill and luck aren't doing her any favors, but I've just found Tharja to be incredibly useful as far as the unit goes. Like, I know, well, Henry I find to be more like the glass cannon type, like hits really hard and high critical, but he's frailer and has a high chance of dying. Tharja I've just found to be all around really damn solid, so from a gameplay standpoint, love Tharja. And then there's the case of her, in regards to her character. I don't know if I want to open that can of worms, because I explained in the last part, in regards to fan stuff, and I've explained before. In fact, I think if you want to know, just look up my video on what was it? Top 10 Awakening characters, where I explain there, even though audio quality is kind of crappy. But it's just that every time I do go out of my way to even, like, not even necessarily talk about Tharja, but so much as mention Tharja, I've noticed it a lot in this Let's Play. Just get, not everyone, because a lot of the comments I read, I really love the stuff you guys say. Like, you know, really good comments about just expressing your love for the game, talking about stuff, and just, you know, you're a really charming bunch of people. But then there's those very small minority of douchebags who feel the need to, every time you so much as, I might not even talk about Tharja. I might just, like, maybe say Tharja's name, and then you have a fucking 20-page rant going on about how dare you like Tharja. Oh, Tharja's the worst thing ever. You're you're such a fucking idiot for liking Tharja. And it's like, once, fair enough, like, you know, I'm not someone who tell people they can't say what they don't want, sorry. I'm not the type of person who's like, oh, you can't say this because this and the other. No, I'm happy to let people speak their mind. I'm never the type to say, no, you can't say this, or I'm going to block your comments on my channel. No, I'm never like that. But I'm getting sick and tired of people, like, I don't mind if you don't like Tharja and you want to put your point out, but, like, there's still a minority, and you know who you are, that feel the need to bring it up every single fucking time. It's getting to the point where I'm just like, yeah, I get it. You don't like Tharja. That's fair enough. I openly accept why people don't like Tharja. It's just that if I ever so much as mention her, apparently it's like a fucking sin to do so. And they go on and on about it, and they make it like, and they go on about it every single goddamn time. Sorry if this feels like venting. It's just kind of bug me. Because it's like, yeah, I get it. Oh, back with the Horse Slayer. Ugh. And it's not even Tharja, it's other characters too. It's the type of people where they'll talk shit about certain characters and insult you, but the moment you say anything bad about character, they're like, they'll tell you, oh, you know, don't say this about my character, don't insult this character because I like them. Bunch of hypocrites. So, like, why do I like Tharja? Well, yeah, I know the whole thing about her, like, hexing people, not being the nicest of people, which, yeah, I get, but I find that there is stuff to her I like. I do like her slightly, like, she has that, side twitch is like, that, like, creep, I don't know how to put it. How do I explain it? It's like that part of her that, like, is, like, the sadistic side that, she, like, you know, she's really, like, the way she kind of, she gets all these ideas in her head, just the way she's like, oh, it's like, when she gets ideas, she's like, oh, this sounds like so much fun to execute. She has that, like, cunningness to her. But also, like, how, in a lot of her supports, like, the way she likes to sometimes just badmouth people, it is like, whenever there's, like, they say, whenever she starts talking about stuff, it's like, would you, it's like, why didn't you try this? But it's like, excuse me, I'm the one doing the experiment here. Shut the fuck up. I like her snarky attitude. But also, I find that Tharja, actually, not only does she kind of, like, develop through her supports, but a lot of other characters as well. A lot of the best supports are with Tharja, like Lonku's one, Libra's one, and other people's as well. A lot of their supports, they do, like, they go into their backstory, they bring up the issues, and Tharja, you know, like Lonku's one, she just, like, offer to help him get rid of the stuff, but ultimately he learned, like, he doesn't, because it does define who he is. So I do think Tharja, like, that's one of the things I like about Tharja. She does help to other people with their problems, and sometimes she does grow from it. Like, even in a Robin support, like, what she does was creepy, and even Robin did say, you did this to do it kind of creepy. Like with Clarine, she was willing to go out of her way to try and change, as Robin said, I appreciate you going and change, but ultimately it's not you, so, you know, don't do it. And, you know, I like that she was willing to, you know, go through a change. It's like, that's again, that's why I like Tharja over Faye. Tharja, you can feel like she's developing, and she actually has this personality. May not agree with the personality, but she has one. Faye has nothing, and she doesn't change at all. Again, I've got nothing wrong with people disliking Tharja, but it just annoys me where, like, apparently it's a sin for me to do so. Even if, like, because I never, ever, like, there are Fire Emblem characters I can't stand. I can't stand Faye, I can't stand Meg, I can't stand Asma, I can't stand Severa in Awakening. I like her in Conquest, in Fate. Can't stand Severa. There are certain people I just don't like, but I'll never have a go at people for liking them. Everyone's free to like who they want. I'll never be like, oh, you're wrong for liking this person, or you're a terrible person for liking this person. And stuff like that. And I don't get offended when people, like, dislike characters I like. I've had people talk shit to me, like, talk shit about Sumire all the time, and I'm okay with it. It infuriates me when others, and I'm saying a very small minority, because a lot of you in the comments are a very lovely bunch of people, and you just accept things as they are. Some people like units, some people like certain units, some people don't, but they just leave it at that. But then there's that small group that feel the need to every single time you bring up a character they don't like, they feel to make a fucking song and dance about it. But the moment you retort with, well, I don't like this character, they get so offended. Bunch of hypocrites. Sorry if this feels like venting, it's just been on my chest for a while. Again, you're free to like and dislike whichever character you want. I'm not trying to convince people to like Tharja, I'm just putting my piece as to why I like her out there. You're fine to disagree. I just want, all I'm asking is that this is why I like Tharja, just let it be. You don't have to go so anal about it. And fair enough if you had to vent about it once, but don't do it 10 fucking times. Because I've seen people go on about this over and over again, even if they put their point across many times before. It's like, I'm just getting the point where it's like, whoever you are, shut the fuck up. I get it. You don't like Tharja. And it's other characters too, but, that's just me. Sorry for venting, but that's why I like Tharja. I find her a good unit, and there's parts of her character I like as well. But anyway, we're going to break here, and when we come back, we're going to round out this chapter, promote Ray, and take down Zephiel's right-hand man. So until then, thank you for watching. See you next time.